Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, episode 1 to 4, and I don't know what the haters are on about. I thought it was beautiful. I enjoyed it. I didn't find any real problems with it. There were some of the criticisms have some merit. It is very slow, but it's just taking its time, and I actually enjoy the pace. You get to really just drink in the world that they've created, and the scenery and the effects and everything. I mean, every other scene has spectacular shots and photography. I'm happy to just stare at it. It's like watching Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I don't care about the pace. It doesn't have to be, clipping along at some action movie, editing pace. I mean, I think I don't want to say brilliant because it has a couple little flaws. Like, Galadriel is fairly unlikable, even though you know she's right. There's just an element about her that, she's not a character. I don't really like her. Aside from that, I like a lot of the other characters. I like the black female elf. No, not elf, dwarf. I like the elf that they refer to as the Don Lemon elf. The boy, Theo, I remember his name. The mother. The relationship that they don't have. I kind of want to see that happen. I mean, I just don't know what people are talking about. I mean, they're just making things up. They are just racists and bigots who have a problem with a show that has a diverse cast, and they're just making things up. Now, I know there are some critics who claim that, they have disrespected Tolkien because they haven't, just remade his books again and just, repeated what Peter Jackson did, because they think the only way to do Lord of the Rings is just to retell the same story in the exact same way, word for word as it was written over and over again. I don't think so. No, that you need to actually go into this world and expand it and look in areas of it that, haven't been explored and haven't had novels. I don't understand the resistance to that. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, what arguments do they have? They don't really have any arguments. I mean, I thought it was going to be boring. I thought it was going to be slow because I found The Hobbit, the first one, to be a bit boring, and I didn't watch the other two. I watched 3 Lord of the Rings films, enjoyed them. They were very slow. I've never gotten around to watching the extended versions or just to watch them for pleasure, because I do find they are very slow, and to really appreciate them, you really have to sit and watch them and concentrate on them and really just, like I said, soak in the universe, soak in the visuals. And I can do that in the cinema. I can't really do that at home in front of the TV. It's very difficult. I have a lot of things to do, and also I have insomnia, which gives me sleep deprivation, so it makes it very hard sometimes. But yeah, I just don't understand what people are complaining about. I mean, okay, Galadriel believes Sauron is returning. She ignores everyone, and I don't know. I mean, all these things people complain about. I'm like, I don't understand. Okay, she jumps in the water. She gets rescued by people on like a raft from a ship that sunk or something. I mean, none of these things are ridiculous, or it's just, what is ridiculous is these people are just making up reasons. They're just justifying their bigotry and their racism just by making things up about the show that aren't even there. It's fascinating, and I'm getting so tired of it because I keep hearing all these criticisms of these shows that are supposedly woke and everything, or pushing agendas, and some of them are pushing things. I mean, there's definitely, political commentary and comments on the patriarchy and women in that in this, but I'm not bothered by that because I don't hate women and I'm not a racist, so it doesn't really bother me to see these issues be explored, because I'm not afraid of them, because they're not commenting on me. But apparently all these other people can't handle this sort of commentary. which is just sad. So there's not really a review of the episodes because it's just too much detail to go through everything that happened in the 4 episodes. I mean, we had the orcs rise again, or not rise again because they're working through tunnels under the ground to attack villages. Sauron, there's some plot afoot for him to come back. I don't remember half of the lore of Lord of the Rings, so I'm just sitting back and watching it and just passively letting it wash over me and enjoying it and not expecting anything from it, not judging it, not have any expectation that is being proven right or wrong, which is a lot of the problem with people watching the show. I think there's some genuine criticism of the show because some people just don't like some of the directions they went in, and even just the idea of creating a new story within the established stories that are already there, and the idea of taking events that happened and shifting them around in the timeline so they can do it in this series. I get some of that criticism. It is like a reboot or a retelling, and that is probably the only real criticism, because if you want them to stick really to the lore and to the chronology and the timeline and work within that, then you're not going to be happy with this. But I kind of understand why they didn't do that. I'm not sure if it's justified. I don't know enough about the history and the lore. I don't know if they couldn't work around it like Kurtzman claims they couldn't work around the canon of Star Trek, so they just had to, destroy it. That wasn't true. That was perfectly manageable. We're talking about stories going over thousands. It's very easy for Tolkien to tell this big, broad sort of story over centuries and just sort of put it in the appendices and all that, but to actually flesh it out in an actual weekly TV series, maybe they had to do that. I'm not sure. So I guess that's the only real criticism that there could really be put onto this show. And you can always just look at it as a reboot, as some sort of retelling, keep it separate from the original. If you have to do that, I guess that's the only way to do it. But because I'm not attached to that, I don't have a problem with it. I can enjoy the show. And for the most part, I did. Like, they were saying nothing happens. A lot of stuff happened. Too much for me to even try and go through in a 10-minute video of the 4 episodes. Now, was it, like I said, slow? Yes, but it was taking its own pace. And that's something I always thought Tolkien did. I always heard the criticism was that he took so long to explain everything. And some people love that because it really immerses you in the world and you feel like you're there looking at every blade of grass. But some people don't like that. Other people love it. This series, I felt, did that. It really took its time. You got to really look at everything and appreciate everything. It wasn't being cut with all the editing to get through and get it happening quickly for people who have no attention span. I think it was really going at its own pace, doing its own thing, creating its own style. I don't have any problem with this show. I understand 1 or 2 criticisms from Tolkien fans. Aside from that, the rest is just a bunch of racists and bigots and haters who just know people are going to eat that up and watch their videos just to hear more of it. I know this positive review of the first 4 episodes and the first half of the season, because I think it's only 8 episodes for the whole season, is going to get no views because there's no drama, there's no hate, there's no negativity. I'm not pandering to any basis. I'm just reviewing the episode and telling people that I enjoyed it and why, and kind of expressing my just confusion as to how people just make things up and lie just to serve an agenda, to serve, to feed a base, like tell people what they want to hear. It just makes stuff up. It's just bizarre. I guess they want the money from the adverts, from lots of views. I get, but it's just sad. So yeah, I'm going to keep watching this. I'm going to watch the next episode when I get home, and like later tonight, I'm going to do a review of that episode on its own. And I'm going to watch the next 3 episodes after that, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. I don't think I'm going to be that disappointed. I think I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray because I just want to see it again. I just want to see this world again. It's so beautiful and so. Except for the Harfoots or whatever they're called, I can't stand them. They're just dirty and annoying and stupid and clumsy, and they're supposed to be funny, but they're not. So that's probably the only thing that doesn't work. But I felt the same about the Hobbits for the most part. They weren't as bad as the Harfoots, though. I don't think. But I was annoyed in the same way. I like the future, everything nice and clean and perfect and evolved, and you know, these are sort of primitive, medieval, sort of backwards, sort of dirty, scruffy, sort of, I wouldn't want to live in this world. It's beautiful to look at from a distance, and I like the elves and all that sort of parts of the world, but I don't like some of the other parts of the world. Aside from that, I enjoyed it, and I can just skip those chapters, whatever. Yeah, so this was my review. This is my reaction. I'm sorry for the people who just hate and can't enjoy this or won't enjoy this because of that. It's a sad. I'm going to enjoy it. Thanks. Bye. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe.